everyone, it's Dr. Live with New Insight, and thank you so much for joining me in another video. Today, I'm providing some insight into overthinking and decision making. Some people can never be at peace because their minds are busy, crowded, and trapped in mental chaos. When it comes to thinking or processing our thoughts, wise decision making requires intention. It requires slowing down long enough to engage in careful self-reflection and critical thinking. And that means clearly identifying the problem, exploring your options, and carefully weighing the pros and cons, both the short-term and long-term consequences for yourself and for others involved. Healthy decision making is not impulsive. It is proactive, not reactive. And at some point, a decision must be made. After action is taken, outcomes should be evaluated. If things don't turn out as expected, you learn from the experience, adjust your strategy, and move forward without self-criticism and punishment. However, overthinking disrupts this process. When you overthink, anxiety and fear takes over. Fear of the unknown, fear of uncertainty, fear of making the wrong decision, fear of messing up, hurting or offending others, or damaging relationships and opportunities. This anxiety creates intense stress and frustration. Even when you know action is needed, you feel immobilized. Overthinking fuels anxious and catastrophic thinking. The mind jumps to worst-case scenarios and replays them repeatedly. It activates automatic negative thoughts, also known as ants, and activates cognitive distortions or thought traps. Instead of being solution-focused, you become problem-focused, and you get trapped in a mental maze, overstimulated, distracted, and disorganized, making it difficult to access logic, clarity, and reason. Overthinking also creates what is known as anticipatory anxiety. Your mind constantly asks, "What if?" or tells you, "This could happen," or "That might happen, this might go wrong." And the cycle continues over and over. So how do you break free from overthinking? Let's discuss 3 tips. First, use cost-benefit analysis. Ask yourself, what is the cost of staying stuck? And what is the benefit of taking action? When people are unhealed, emotionally dysregulated, decisions are often made impulsively out of anger, fear, pride, or the need to feel validated. And in those moments, people focus only on the benefit, the relief, the release, or the temporary satisfaction, but they ignore the cost. And the cost might be your peace, your reputation, your relationships, your job, your freedom, or your emotional stability. A cost-benefit analysis forces you to pause instead of react. It moves you from emotional thinking to intentional thinking, and it helps you to separate what feels good right now from what is actually good for you. Number 2, set a time limit, especially when there is no external deadline. Create one for yourself. Honor it. Stick to it. Be intentional. Indecisiveness keeps you stuck. Avoiding a decision doesn't protect you from stress. It actually worsens it. The longer you delay, the more the problem grows, the heavier it feels, and the more mental energy it consumes. What could have been manageable now becomes overwhelming simply because it was left unattended. And here's the part people don't always realize. When you never decide because you're stuck in overthinking, you never build confidence in your ability to make decisions. And confidence doesn't come from waiting until you feel ready. It comes from choosing, learning, evaluating, and re-strategizing when you need to. Number 3, reframe your thinking. Shift your mind from the catastrophic thinking and what ifs to positive thinking. And instead, ask yourself these questions. What if it does work out? What if everything is okay? And what if the outcomes are better than I expected? Challenge the negative assumptions and the worst case scenarios. Finally, understand this. The right or best decision is the one made with honesty, fairness, intention, and the information, resources, and insight you have at that moment. Your decision does not have to match what someone else would do in your situation or what others think you should do. Expecting that is unrealistic and rooted in faulty thinking. Growth happens when you trust yourself enough to decide, act, learn, and move forward. So reflect on today's insights about overthinking and decision making and practice these steps. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video.